everybody, it is the Lawn Gnome. Welcome back to another DCU update over here on my channel. If you're new, I'll just say welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. And for all of you returning, I'm hoping that you're excited to talk about the latest installment in the DC animated original film library. Obviously, what we are suddenly noticing is that when it comes to stories that are not part of the brand new storyline in the DC universe, which is now dubbed the Tomorrowverse, they all seem to be put into the original movie library. And today we're going to be taking a look at a movie that is based on a Batman miniseries from the early 2000s called Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham. So, I remember when I first saw the trailer for this film, and I definitely said that it got me really interested because of the fact that we're also going back to a world where Batman is in the 1920s, and we are looking at a story being told in that time period and seeing how his lore is enveloped in this specific story. And I just got very interested, really curious to see what it was going to be like when it came out, and then, when I got my copy in the mail, I was really surprised to see how a lot of people out there really didn't like this movie. But of course, me being who I am, I really needed to take my time and make my own personal judgment. And I have to say, this was a pretty damn good movie. They basically say that this is a H.P. Lovecraft styles of storytelling for Batman in this DC world. And they say that unless you are a fan of this specific type of storytelling, you're probably just going to find this story very dull, very mundane, very boring. Well, I am here to say that I have never read anything by H.P. Lovecraft. I know about his style of storytelling, and of course I know the legendary monster Cthulhu that he's created, and of course there is a Cthulhu-type monster in this story as well, so I kinda knew what I was getting into, and I truthfully felt that this was a very deep, atmospheric look into the Batman lore, and more importantly, into Batman and Bruce Wayne's psyche itself as a unit. I also really appreciated how all the various characters from Batman's lore were interpreted, whether they were actual people that he interacted with, as well as some other DC characters outside of Batman, as well as how some of the villains were actually portrayed in this film. There's also some pretty well-known names in the voice cast. We have Brian George as Alfred. You probably remember him as Babu from Seinfeld. There's also the great Jason Marsden, who you know as Jason in Boy Meets World. And there is also the great John DiMaggio, who has done so much great voice work for the DC Animated Universe, as well as outside with the individual DC animated film projects. He voiced Commissioner James Gordon. This was a great film. I thought it was beautiful storytelling. I thought it was beautifully animated. The atmosphere was truly there. I was definitely feeling the goosebumps form on my arm and all over my body. I felt the hair standing on the back of my neck because it was a very interesting story. It was a very good look into Batman and his way of thinking. It was just a great test for Batman because of the fact that he has been told that there was a very evil presence, a doom that is coming to Gotham, and yet Batman is somewhat responsible for it. So not only does he have to take the time to stop this monster from coming to Gotham and destroying it, he also needs to find out why he is responsible for the fact that it's coming to Gotham. So I would say that you've got to give this movie a try. I think you'll be very impressed, even if you don't know anything about these kinds of horror stories. You know, Batman is a character that is very much enveloped in the goth, in the horror. You saw that definitely represented through stories like Tim Burton's world, as well as stories like The Long Halloween by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. And of course, even with the recent film, The Batman with Robert Pattinson, there's definitely a lot of horror elements in there. So the fact that Batman Doom That Came to Gotham would not be something that would resonate with you after all of these things that I just mentioned, then I don't really know what to say, because I really enjoyed this film. I think it's very, very deep. It's very, very thought-provoking. I think it may be one of the best Batman animated films that Warner Brothers and the DC animators have given us. I highly recommend it. I really think you should check it out. So those are my thoughts, everybody, on Batman the Doom That Came to Gotham. Please leave your comments in the box below. If you don't like this movie, I'd like to know why. Because there's so many people out there that don't like it, and I don't know why. But in the meantime, everybody, I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, feel free to leave a comment. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to be up to date with our latest videos. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.